Going on, everybody? Now, I know people are still worried about how jobs are in the job market. Uh, you got a few industries that's basically going to be taken by storm when you're dealing with automation, artificial intelligence, and everything like that. The fast food industry, the warehouse industry, maybe the assembly line or production industry. And then the one that a lot of people like to, kind of put to the side and act like it's not happening, right, is the trucking industry. Um, there's a lot of truckers who I've talked to, and they always are like, okay, well, nothing's going to really happen with the whole trucking thing. They need us drivers and stuff like that, right? Yes, they do need you. But how many of you will they need in the future, right? So, as I've been noticing, because I'm from St. Louis, I've been seeing them relentlessly working on these highways, right? They even built a new highway on the bridge that I have to cross to go into Illinois. And they're basically making these highways wider. And it looked like to me that they're also making like an express lane specifically designed for something. I don't know exactly what, but I would assume it's for a cleaner route for certain vehicles to be able to drive through without no issues from oncoming, human traffic and stuff like that. So what I'm looking at is what I'm starting to see is that when they done fixing the bugs and when they are ready to actually scale, there's going to be a lot of people starting off, in my opinion, starting off with probably I like to call them camper tractors, the ones that have the beds and stuff, the people who like to drive across country on the highways and stuff like that. I think they might get hit first, and then they may start going at the people who come home every day. But as you see on this screen, right, Order Express, this is a company that I used to work for. And they're located, as you see, let me zoom up on this, St. Louis, Missouri, which is really in Hazelwood. And they have partnered with a company called Kodiak. Kodiak is basically, they've rebranded themselves to Kodiak AI. They're basically, it's like a solution to dealing with autonomous solutions, dealing with like artificial intelligence and AI. So I'm just going to read a little bit and just see what's going on with all this, right? Because this happened as soon as I left that job. But when I left, they was already bringing in electrical vehicles. So they was already bringing in EV trucks. So Kodiak they basically, you could buy the truck, whatever truck you buy, and they basically have like basically the components and stuff for you to like install it. Like you have to install it, and then I guess there's a certain tune that you have to get it set up on for it to work the way that they want it to work. Because I think they deal with a lot of stuff, satellite and a bunch of sensoring and whatever technology they have, but it's dealing with artificial intelligence and yeah. So I'm just gonna read. Order Express continues its work on the leading edge of innovative technology with Kodiak's autonomous solutions. And this was last year. As the first trucking company to operate electric trucks in St. Louis, Missouri, this is not a lie, Order Express has its fair share of experience cultivating new technologies and reducing its carbon footprint. Partnering with Kodiak Robotics, a leader in autonomous trucking technology, is just another step towards changing the dynamic of transportation and continuing as a leading edge carrier. And that's basically them, I guess, commenting on it, because you, the future is all about basically the advancements of technology. That's why the world is going to be ran by, it's going to be dealing with like a technocracy, and it's going to be ran by a lot of large corporations, a lot of them being these tech corporations and AI corporations, dealing with AI and all of this stuff, to where they won't really need 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 workers anymore. No, they may just have a specialized, like a specialized, skilled, selected few of workers that could just go around, providing maintenance on, multiple, buildings or multiple job sites or whatever that they have, doing all of their, where they doing their business and stuff. Let me read this. Let's see. Order Express believes that collaborating with Kodiak will not only expand the horizon for the business, but will help support our drivers as well. Yeah, how many will it actually support? Because you will basically be driving, you dealing with, what do they call it? I'm trying to think of the word. You deal with, like, you'll probably be driving for a little while with that technology in there, dealing with machine learning. So you get these technologies, the ability to remember the routes and how to drive and how to, correct themselves, based on what you're doing as a job. And then later on, you basically will be erased. So you basically will be training your replacement at some point in time. Kodiak technology can help give our drivers the tools they need to be successful when delivering loads across the country. Keeping the drivers in mind is always a top priority for Order Express. Yeah, we strive to accommodate our drivers' needs by getting them home on time when needed, providing the lanes they desire, and ensuring their reliable and safe equipment. Having the daily struggle of meeting customer schedules, being DOT compliant, and dealing with regular four-wheelers is only the tip of the iceberg for what drivers face while on the road. Exploring how to implement an autonomous solution to fit our network with Kodiak will be able to open doors for our drivers to be successful and alleviate some of the struggles while operating the CMV on a day-to-day basis. Some people will be successful. Yeah, like some people will be okay. But in the future, we know where it's going. It may not be exactly immediate like right now, because it's 2025, right? So you have to give it a time frame of what? I'm not even going to go 5 years, but let's just say 10 to 15 years, when things are pretty much settled and everything. Like, how many drivers will there actually be? When all of these companies start to think like, oh, we need to be able to compete with these companies with the AI technology. So then they will all start to get it, right? They will all start to get this technology, and then over time start to replace their drivers. Just like how the USA is doing right now when it comes to somebody like China. How they basically trick the people and say, okay, well, they're improving their technologies and they're dealing with artificial intelligence, and we are having a hard time competing with what they're doing. Now we need to step up so we can try to stay close in the race to what they have going on. When really it's just a big scam worldwide, and they basically putting everybody on the same stuff. Because, like I said, once again, technology is going to be ruled by, at the end, artificial intelligence. It's to the point they don't trust us humans no more. They don't trust us like so badly to where they'll rather go to a computing program to basically rule over us humans in the end, and that's the far future, but that's basically what it's going to do. And with the amount of technology that they're going to continue to implement, it basically put us in a position where we be further condemned, and we be weighed a little bit dense, even more dense, and then we'll be to the point where we'll start to lose ourselves in a spiritual manner. We'll be a lot more fleshly. We'll be far more equipped with more flesh, because you have, some humans will merge, and become like a hybrid in a sense, because you will have to want to compete with what's going on. If not, you would be more so like a forgotten, left behind. You wouldn't have no value in the future. Some people would get to the point where they would start complaining about being, slaves or debt slaves or being employees, because there won't be much work. And those people who won't have much work to do, they'll basically be placed in a position of rich and poor. And then you'll have people strictly dealing with universal basic income or UBI or universal basic services or UBS or whatever. But yeah, man, I just wanted to show this. And yeah, you would think that this would be happening in Los Angeles or New York or something like that. Well, it already is. They're basically going to, like you see, it's in St. Louis, but they're basically going to be. This is going to be for your delivery drivers. Like your pizza guys, UPS, FedEx, Amazon. All that stuff, DoorDash, Uber. Really, a lot of this was a trap. People not saying that it's a trap, right? See, around the COVID time, you started getting a lot of people on Uber and stuff like that, right? They start dealing with Uber, the DoorDashes. It was a big trend and wave to get into the trucking. They finna take that away. I don't know how fast, but they're going to take it away. And a lot of people, they're not really looking into what's going on with that. That was a big trap to get you to the lifestyle. Because I knew it. I remember it was certain people doing Uber making $1,400 a week. I remember this because I used to work at XPO. And I remember it was people that was doing it, and they was working for probably like 8 hours a day. And they were getting like checks that was like $1,200, $1,400 a week just for doing Uber. But a lot of people's lifestyles, they changed their lifestyles because they was able to get into stuff like trucking and, like I was saying, Uber and stuff like that. So a lot of people are living way above what they think they're going to continue to have. And because of the inflation of assets and the inflation of having too many jobs or high-paying jobs, quote unquote, because we know that the economy is so messed up, we probably should be making higher wages, but because there's such an inflation, so much and inflation of ownership as well, they got to take it all away. They got to take that away. And because we at a point where there's a great reset, in a different time, as far as like these worlds conflicting each other and battling each other, because you got the old world going against the new world, and it's a chaotic scene right now. But the new world is going to prevail based on scripture, or the scripts that they've basically put in that good book. And then you're going to have that future of what we're going to see, a highly dystopian society, or maybe like an illusion utopia. But we're going to have a society like that. And a lot of people just ain't ready for it, man. But that's all I got for this one. Peace. Yeah, Kodiak, right? This their website. Like, they're basically going to bring in AI, but they're going to blame the humans for why they bring in AI and all this shit, right? They have to blame somebody for bringing in what they bring in. That's why when the new industrial revolution come in, it's going to be blamed on everybody who has something to do with the New World War. Whether that's the United States or Russia or Ukraine or China or Israel or whoever. You have to blame something to bring in the solution. And right now with Kodiak, they're blaming the people. Come on, bikers. Y'all making a lot of noise. But why autonomy? Safer roads. Driving is dangerous. More than 85% of truck crashes in the U.S. were caused by human error. Yeah, because the human will be the one that's going to be blamed. That's a part of it. From 2021 to 2023, large truck crashes led to more than 15,000 deaths in the U.S. We believe that's unacceptable. Yeah, it's unacceptable. Of course, we don't want to have any wrecks and stuff. I get that. That's understandable. You know, we need safe driving. But I'm telling you all, this is what's going to happen. The safe driving part. Same thing with the whole police force. They're going to start bringing in robotic police, basically RoboCops. You know, because you got to blame the police for the police on black crime, or police on whatever crime, white crime, whoever they decide they want to kill because they considered untrained or they're not trained enough, and you need to defund them and whatever. The police force ain't going nowhere, but I'm just saying that's part of why they will start bringing in these robotic police. They already got something dealing with robotic drones, to where if something happened or they suspect a crime or something suspicious, the drone is going to be the first responder to go out and see like what's going on. And that's considered far more safe because you can't hurt a drone. So the drone will go out there and it might have, like some like a little neutralizing weapon to neutralize a suspect. But then later on, we know that comes with weapons. But yeah, let me continue reading. We believe that's unacceptable. That's why we've dedicated ourselves to finding a better way forward, harnessing Kodiak's autonomous technology in our pursuit to build the world's safest driver. So that's one of the reasons. Safer roads. The next one is efficient fleets. Our autonomous technology is designed to operate with steady, unreliable performance while helping reduce unplanned downtime. That means goods travel further or farther, faster. Okay, farther and faster. Greater efficiency promotes increased asset utilization, more reliable deliveries, and reduced spoilage. So they might be dealing with a lot of and this ain't just the trucks. You're going to be dealing with AI and autonomous powered trailers in the future too. But you can't drive a trailer unless you hook it behind a truck. Harnessing autonomy for difficult to hire long haul lanes also helps to ease the driver shortage, allowing you to attract and retain great drivers by offering them routes closer to home. Yeah, the people who come home every day, they might be the ones that's a little safer with the trucking for now. But the people that's going across the roads for 6-7 days a week, 6-7 days a week before they go home, they might be coming for your job first. Because all they got to do is code the truck to deal with like the dock. If they just build the warehouse or the docking building with QR codes, and they got all these different sensors, and they dealing with Wi-Fi, and they dealing with the whole Internet of Things, or the IoT, all this stuff. These trucks would be able to deliver and take the loads a lot easier. And don't worry about if people are going to load those trailers with the forklifts. They already got self-driving forklifts. It just depends on where they want to scale it at, implement it, push that button, so yeah, efficient fleets, and then fit for any environment. Our autonomous technology is built to operate effectively in situations where human operated equipment would be inefficient, unpredictable, and dangerous. So they trying to say that they could deliver the goods anywhere. We got the technology for that. That's like Starlink, powered by SpaceX. You got Starlink, Elon Musk and everything like that. Like, they're not playing with this technology. Like, the thing with technology, right, it's always been here. this ain't no thing to where it just started off 10. Well, I ain't gonna say the last 100 years. No, we've had electric powered vehicles in the early 1900s, and we've had recycled technology way before that, to where you start to erase history and people don't believe it. You know, they don't know that you had hydrogen fuel cell engines for cars, and it barely costs a lot, but you could drive 200, 300, 400 miles. Like, we've been had this technology. It's just that the people they're not really caring about that. So because it's more profitable for the big companies, you know, for the so-called elitists, right? It's more profitable for them to come with the fuel and the diesel and the damn, you know, to have you paying this high electric bill every month instead of just dealing with free energy. We've always had high technology. The thing is, they wait for a certain amount of time to push it down on the people after a while. But we've always had it. It's always been here. It's just that you have a selected amount of people who have the technology, which means that they hold a lot of the knowledge based on these type of things. So yeah, man, that's all I wanted to show. And just don't be surprised if your job is taken because of, you know, the artificial intelligence and stuff like that, or some autonomous stuff. You know, even people that's working on computers and stuff like that, like, you just low code away or whatever from them just strictly just taking your job. So don't be surprised if you see like the signs. Get the hell up out of there. When they start firing the people from the top, you know, be careful, because if they firing the people from the top, what makes you think they can't fire you if you somebody that's just a regular worker? But yeah, man, peace.